So, without further ado, because he's a busy man, he's got busy things to do, but he's found the time to come and join us, can I now introduce to you the Secretary of State for Health, Andy Burnham.
Thank you, Roger. Good evening, everybody. It's not that I found the time to join you, I was forced to join you by... How could I have said no? But I think this is, I'm just counting actually, I think my 4th or 5th annual Parliamentary reception. Every time I've been in a different job whenever I've addressed you, so I think, I don't know what it says about my staying power, not very much probably, but it always seems that I'm in an even more useful job to Alison every time that I arrive at the
There's only one left now, right? Next year.
But I just spotted my ministerial colleague Kevin Jones here, and I do always think back on occasions like this. I think Julian Lewis was there too, wasn't he? The three of us were the 3 MPs who turned up at the inaugural CRY APPG AGM, and a long time since the, I think it was Committee Room 12 or somewhere, wasn't it, Kevin? You were the chair at the time, and Roger's doing such a good job following on from you. But look at this attendance this evening. Parliamentary colleagues from right across the House. Really a fantastic turnout, and I always think that this evening is about 2 things. Firstly, it's about remembering the people who are close to you, dear to you, or people you know who may have lost their lives. And in my case, I always think of my constituent Daniel Young, his mum Dion Young and his dad Craig Young, who've done so much to work with Alison and CRY. So I'm sure tonight everybody will have different people in their minds, but that's an important thing. And I'm sure parliamentary colleagues in the room will have their own people and families to remember. But secondly, it's to kind of look back on the progress made, and then how far we've got to go, and how we keep building this wonderful campaign that CRY is involved in. And in terms of progress, well, I think there's been some wonderful progress in the last 12 months. I saw the CRY screening service come to my constituency. Dion brought it to Tesco in Atherton, where she works. Phillips did a wonderful job sponsoring the mobile unit. I think a couple of hundred young people went through it from my local area, so a huge step forward. So well done to everybody. But thanks to Phillips for their sponsorship of that, and thanks to Sanjay for all he did to make that possible. The second thing I'd also want to say, congratulate you on, Alison, is the new initiative you've announced about screening all young people born in 1995, I think, in the southeast. Quite specific, you've got to meet the criteria, but still a wonderful step forward. And I think, as Sanjay said in the press release, lays the ground for a national screening programme. And from my point of view, this is where I come in. I have, through my various jobs, put this on the agenda of the National Screening Committee. It remains on the agenda, and I know they've called for further research into whether there could be a benefit for young athletes particularly, and there's a call for research going forward. So it's ongoing, it's important, it will take time, but it's very much on the agenda. But the work that you're doing by extending ever still every year your screening activity, then obviously it's building the case in the long term for a national screening programme. And from my point of view, that is completely in tune with what we're doing in terms of building a preventative NHS. For me, going forward, the NHS has to be all about spotting problems early and stopping preventable deaths. That's what the NHS has got to do much better in the next 10 years, and that's what we're all engaged on. So all of the work that you're doing fits completely into that. Obviously, we have to take it step by step, but Alison will work with you, and we'll build the argument over time. But I think in an era where we are saying to young people, and it's a really positive thing, and great that Seb Coe is here this evening, as we're saying as part of the Olympic Games, let's get 2 million more people active in this country, and we have all of the initiatives around free swimming and other things, and 5 hours of sport in schools. Well, if we're going to get young people playing more sport, we have to think about their safety playing sport too, don't we? And that's very much on my agenda. Lastly, on the department's agenda too, is an issue of specialist facilities for people with inherited cardiac conditions, and we have a special group looking at that issue right now. Again, we want to involve CRY in that work. We recognise that services are patchy around the country, and we want to work with CRY and others in making sure that we look at how we can improve those services. So that's the broad policy agenda. And I thought, well, there's one last thing I can say to you this evening, Alison, and it's this. I've done the Great North Swim twice now. It can't get anywhere near your big patron, Mr. Williams, in terms of what he did. But I'm going to do it again next year, and I'm going to do it for CRY next year. So I'm going to start fundraising. So I think if you're backing my fundraising campaign, then I'm sure I can't go far wrong. So Great North Swim, Windermere 2010. I'll swim for Cry and keep it high on the agenda. But anyway, thanks to you all for coming this evening. Thanks to parliamentary colleagues for showing support, because it does matter to the people in the room to see MPs from all parties in the House, and I think all parties are represented here in the House this evening. It does matter to the people in this room to see you here and lending your support to this wonderful organisation who is just year on year. I would say we all come across in our lives as parliamentarians organisations who want to campaign, but you're both a campaigning organisation and a doing organisation, and I think that's what makes you so special. So well done to all of you for all that you're doing, and keep fighting the fight and onwards and upwards. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andy, very much indeed. It's